This is one of my favorite positions in Jiu-Jitsu, and actually it's more of a judo position and thus unfamiliar to a lot of Jiu-Jitsu guys. Now I was recently asked by an Instagram Q&A, how does the guy on top stop from getting rolled over to the other side? Because if you get rolled, you're taking a great position and you're making it a very bad position. To roll me, typically the guy on the bottom has to do two things. He's going to bridge to get my head to the floor, and then he's going to roll me over this way. And now he's in a great position, and I'm in a terrible position. So number one is the teeter-totter principle. If we go, so we're lined up here, I do not want to be a teeter-totter. I don't want to be halfway on top of him where he can roll me this way and roll me back. I don't want my weight to be very far this way. I want my weight to be this way, away from him, like an outrigger canoe. That's what I want to be. So I'm going to slide down this way. To illustrate, try rolling me that way right now. There we go. That's pretty easy. Let me just move a couple inches this way. Try rolling me that way. Can you do it?
No.
Go. Now I'm going to go even further. Go ahead, roll me. Not going to happen. I have a weight advantage, but mechanically I'm getting heavier and heavier and heavier the longer I'm making this lever here. My weight is being amplified by the length of this lever. So that's number one. I want to be far away from him. Number two, in order for him to roll me, if I'm half decent at this position, he can't just roll me. He's got to put my head this way first. He's going to bridge first, and then he can roll me much more easily. So I have to stop that bridging motion. I have to stop him from being able to shift my weight forward. So I don't want my legs to be here. Although this would maximize the outrigger principle, it would not help me preventing the bridge. I don't want my legs to be splayed here. This doesn't help me either. I want my legs to be splayed like this. One leg pointing in the same direction as his spine. His spine is going like this, same line as these maps, and my leg is also there. Now try bridging me. As he bridges me, I push off of this foot. I push off the outside of this foot. If he can't bridge me, it makes rolling me so much harder. So outrigger, away from him, and leg above his head. Number three, I want to increase the weight on him. I want to increase the weight on him so that he has less energy to bridge and bridge and bridge and roll. It's going to sap his energy very quickly. I might need to survive 1 or 2 bridges, but I don't need to survive 3, 4, 5 bridges. The easiest way to do that is not to squeeze him harder, although we are going to do that later. It's to lift this hip ever so slightly off the floor. My right hip right now is down on the floor. Right now it's off. So using this magic, very expensive prop, I'm going to put this under my right hip, the hip that's closest to him. Right now with my hip on the floor, I can't pull this paper out. I'm going to lift my hip ever so slightly off the floor to be able to pull that out. As soon as I do that, I can hear your breathing change. It's miserable, I think. So, outrigger, post up, and ever so slightly lift my hip off the floor. I can hear the breathing change. He's hooped. Number 4, I want to pull. Now, obviously I'm super strong. I can make this really uncomfortable. But even if I just pull a little bit, it's going to make that bridging harder. Why? Say he wants to do a hip thrust. Right? He's in the gym. He wants to build a big booty. He's hip thrusting away. Okay, cool. If I take his head and I disrupt it like this, I can now do a hip thrust.
I can't.
It kills the bridge. So yeah, you want to pull the head to make life miserable for him and to increase the weight on his chest, which goes to point number 3, but also to disrupt the bridging. So if I'm pulling, I'm lifting my hip off the ground, I'm outriggering, and I'm posting here, that's going to be really tough. Number 5, if I screw all this up, but I'm lifting his head off the ground, this arm is free. As he rolls me, go ahead. There we go, and then roll me. I can post this hand and then come right back. So it's going to go like that. Notice in this case, I'm grabbing the inside of my thigh. You have the choice of grabbing the inside of your thigh or his triceps. I actually prefer the inside of the thigh, maybe because it's closer to being able to post. If you have to post frequently, you're doing something else wrong where there's a huge size disparity. Now, part of the reason I want to be able to lift his head up is to have the room to post this hand. If he traps my arm on the ground with his head and now bridges, I can't get my hand out from under his head. I can't post. So that's bad. So to make sure I've got the room, if I lift his head off the ground, now there's lots of room to post. Now finally, like the old Jewish saying goes, man makes plans and God laughs. Well, maybe I'm doing everything right and I still get rolled. I need a plan if my plan fails. So we're here. Maybe he's much bigger than I am. Maybe he's much, much better at this bridging escape than I am at shutting it down. And he bridges up just enough to be able to roll me, and shit, I'm going over. I don't want to concede the top position quite yet and just go to the bottom. As he goes, I can get this hand free and my other hand can capture the arm. The arm that was trapped under my armpit, I'm now going to try and control the wrist. Keep on coming to the top. I'm going to let go and capture his arm in a Kimura. Keep on coming to the top. Now, this is a battle here. I would rather be him than me, but I would rather have this Kimura than not have this Kimura. And maybe I can tap him out, or at least distract him long enough to get him off of me and put him back into guard. So if all else goes badly and you're getting rolled, go for that Kimura. It's some level of control, and some control is better than no control.